Greetings, programs. Welcome back to Stegosaurus Studios. I'm Mike. This is the shop. In here, I make machines, and I just learned something about machines from another builder friend. She said that every machine is a smoke generator if you operate it wrong enough. So think about that while we listen to these words from our sponsors. All right, so this episode is Pit Droid number that many. Last episode, I talked about putting Dummy's head together. In this episode, we're going to get into operating it, and we're going to solve a few issues that came up when we started to do the operation. So keep calm and carry on. So now that Dummy here is mostly together, his neck's together, his head's on. So let's take a look inside the head here. So this servo here pulls on this lever, which will make the head go side to side. And then this servo arm here, there's a little hole right back there. That will make the head, when the servo moves, the head go up and down. Now what I need to do is I need to design a linkage between here and between there and the hole in the back. So I need to take some detailed measurements, and then I'm gonna put it together in Fusion and 3D print it, and then use some little machine screws to put it together. And unfortunately, I have not grown a third arm, so I can't hold the camera while I do the measuring, so that's going to happen off camera. All right, see you on the other side, Ray. Well, something very exciting is happening. It's unboxing day for my new radio from FrSky. So let's get into this. Let's open this bad boy. All right. Okay, get the scissors, get the box open. Actually, I'll use a box cutter instead of the scissors. Hopefully the audio is not too bad in here. I've got the air conditioner running because it's hot. I guess I'll find out when I watch the videos, see how bad it is. But this is the radio. Very, very exciting. Let's get this out. So I went with the X20 Pro, which is the top of the line for FrSky. Basically, what I did was, and I'll put a copy of it on the video up in the corner when I go through this. I took a diagram of the radio, and I literally mapped out every single switch, what it would do. There's a lot of controls on this, and I literally am using, I think, everything but two. One of which is, so both of the sticks have twist ends, and the one on the right currently doesn't have an assignment, and then there's a couple buttons on the back in red, and one of those is not assigned, but literally everything. Oh, and there's actually one other thing. Inside the X20 Pro is a gyroscope, so you can tilt the radio back and forth and actually use that to control. I don't have a plan for it, but it comes with the radio, and I wanted basically, I wasn't sure how much or what I would need as far as controls. So I kind of just went with the top of the line. So I'll be going over in future episodes what each of these switches and things does. And yeah, very exciting. So the first thing I will be doing is hooking this up to test out Dummy's head movements. And so that will be actually, I think, on this one in that configuration. So also in here, there's a strap, and but there's a receiver. Which one is this? It's the TDR12 receiver, or actually, excuse me, the TDR18. So hopefully you can see that. It'll handle 24 channels, but it has 18 individual outputs on pins that can be specified to be PWM or iBus or FBus. And so that comes with the X20 Pro. I will be playing with this over the next little while, and very exciting. It's got nice and heavy. It feels great. Oh, and by the way, I worked directly with Ben Saraceno from FrSky to get the modifications made. So there are a couple modifications. The twist ends don't come standard. So that was added on, and then we changed a couple of switches around as well. Yeah, very exciting day. All right, guys, so before you accuse me of strapping Dummy into some medieval torture device, I have him I have an ace bandage wrapped around him, so he gets a little excited, and I don't want him to fall off his box. So I got his head wired up. I've got the transmitter sitting over there. So if I can do this with one hand while filming with the other. So the up-down movement's great. Now I'm just going to use my hand to show there's a little bit of an issue here. So I'm just moving this back and forth, not moving the servo. Just the loose play between the two gears. I think the term for that is actually backlash. So I've got quite a bit of backlash. So I'm going to actually have printed this gear here a little 1% larger, and I'm going to see if that works. So it does move back and forth, but you can see how he's got that wobble because it's so loose. So I need to fix that. But anyway, the transmitter's working, the head's working. Just once I get that tightened up, then he'll be able to look around, and I think he's a little annoyed at me because I haven't finished him yet. Yeah, see, he says he's annoyed. Okay. So the printing of larger gear didn't work. I actually tried 1% and then 2% bigger. 3% would have brought in a different set of challenges. So I'm going to go a different route. So I actually want to take you quickly through the timeline of how I approach these things, or this particular thing. So initially I was using a direct linkage. So in the plans, there's this thing which pinches onto the metal tube. And then it has holes in it, and you connect a linkage to the servo arm. So all the servos come with a little bag of different armatures, depending on what you're controlling. So, but the problem I was encountering is if I line up the two sort of axes, you'll see one is the servo arm. This one is much shorter than the 3D printed one that was in the plans, and when it's rotated this direction, this started to, it was an eccentric motion, and I didn't like it. So I switched to the gears thinking that would be better. Now the way the gears actually work is you've got this 3D printed piece, but you also take this little disc from the little bag of parts, and you glue it. So this is the old one. You see there's one of those things that's glued into the recess on this. This is really hard with 3D printing to get the little splines on this thing. So I'm taking the same approach. I want to basically make a mating servo that's the same distance from the axle from the to the hole. So basically what I did is I took in Fusion, I took the gear piece, I cut the teeth off of it. I'm not physically, but in Fusion, right? Took the teeth off of it, and then I took this piece and cut the back half off of it, and then I essentially glued the two pieces together, again in Fusion, and then you end up with this little guy. So the shaft and the lengths are now the same, so we shouldn't have that eccentricity of motion. Then I just got to get these put on his head, measure the distance between the two, 3D print the appropriate linkage. It's going to be a stiff linkage, no play, and hopefully that will take out the wobble problem. Weebles wobble, but they never fall down. So that's so I got to go get these on his head and take the next step. See you later. Okay, well the the linkages worked a lot better than the gears. I'll take his head off, I think, and show what the gearing is, or the linkages are. But here's his motions now. He's got a little wobble, just a tiny little bit still, but not very much. So I think this is good enough for now. There's a future change that I'll probably do like once he's actually complete. I have a design to use some bevel gears and things on both axes, not just the one. So let's see if I can, so apologize for I can't get this off. All right, brief intermission there. So what I put one linkage in between the two, and that had a still tiny little bit of wobble, and then by putting in the second one, that stiffened it up quite a bit. So there's just a teensy little bit, so it probably as good as it's going to get with plastic and 3D parts. But so he moves, it's pretty decent, and I can move on to the rest of them now. All right, that's it for this episode. Next episode, we are going to do a deep dive into Dummy's left wrist redesign. And yeah, so stay tuned. See you next time. Testing, 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 testing.